to do a push-up, there's a few things that we want to make sure we do from a longevity perspective. Firstly, you want to make sure that you can separate a shoulder blade movement from a shoulder movement. So if you don't know how to protract and retract your shoulder blades, and you don't know how to elevate and depress your shoulder blades, then I suggest practicing that first. If you don't know how to do that in a plank position, in a high plank position like this, then I suggest you get very good at doing that next. Then once you can do that, the movement wants to subtly be initiated by your shoulder blade retraction. So as you are going from here to here, your shoulder blades will subtly come behind your back as the elbows bend. When you're at this bottom position here, your shoulder blades should be retracted and they should stay retracted. And when you initiate the push, you want to initiate that push from your musculature. And then about here, where it's the more difficult part of the movement, that's when you assist the movement with your shoulder blades to get back to a more neutral shoulder blade position. So at the very start, it's neutral. Shoulder blades retract a little bit, they stay retracted, and then they protract a little bit. And so this whole movement is an even distribution of load between shoulder blade musculature, shoulder musculature, and elbow musculature. And the other thing is wrist health. Some people, for example, may actually not be able to actively perform this range of motion with their wrist. So what I want you to do now is take your hand and bend your wrist backwards. So you're trying to pull your knuckle back towards your bicep. If your wrist doesn't get to a 90-degree bend with your palm straight, then your wrist is not prepared for you to be able to do press-ups in this position with the shoulder directly above the wrist. And as a result, you should probably be doing them slightly wider or slightly further in front to reduce the range of motion on the wrist until you improve the range of motion available. The reason is when you lower down into this, you're effectively, especially towards the top here, you're just cranking your wrist into this range of motion here. And over a long period of time, that can just be not so great for your wrists. So you see at the bottom here, there's like an open, slightly open range of motion. And then as it gets towards the top, it just closes. If you don't have that range of motion, set up so that your wrist angle is more like this the entire time. And so that will be from a slightly wider position or a slightly turned out position, or a hand slightly further away from the feet situation, or a combination of all those things. Other than that, you want to make sure that your spine is completely rigid the entire time. We want to try and make this, from an exercise perspective, we want to make this a spinal stabilizing movement, so it's only the shoulders doing the movement.